Here I'll be changing the oil in my Honda CRF 250L. According to Honda, this should be done every 12 months or 8,000 miles. The tools you'll need to get started are an 8 and 12 millimeter socket, preferably deep well, a ratchet, and some paper towels. Optionally, it is helpful to have a torque wrench and an Allen key to remove the skid plate. You'll also need a new oil filter, a new crush washer for the oil plug, and a new oil filter gasket. In my opinion, the crush washer and filter gasket can be reused a few times, but Honda recommends replacing it at each oil change. You'll also need 1.6 quarts of 10W30 motor oil and an oil catch pan. If the engine is cold, crank up the bike and let it idle for 3 to 5 minutes. If you have an aftermarket skid plate like I do, it's a good idea to remove this prior to draining the oil. Mine does have a cutout like the stock skid plate for the oil drain plug, but the wings on the side catch oil when I remove the oil filter. Now that that's out of the way, we'll use the 12 millimeter socket to remove the oil drain plug. Make sure your oil catch pan is ready underneath to catch the oil. After the oil flow has slowed down, rock the bike back and forth to make sure you get all of the old oil out of the bike. Now it's time to take the 8 millimeter socket and remove the 4 bolts that hold the oil filter cover in place. It may be helpful to press down slightly on the rear brake pedal to remove the cover. Also, watch out that you don't drop any of the parts into the oil. You'll have the filter, the old gasket, and also a spring that presses the oil filter into place. After using the paper towels to clean everything back up, I find it helpful to halfway insert the top 2 bolts into the filter housing and the new gasket before reassembling the spring and the oil filter. Make sure that the oil filter is facing O-ring towards the engine. It's a bit tricky to get everything in place without dropping the filter or the spring, but once everything's lined up, you'll be able to feel with your fingers that the filter is seated, and then you can proceed to start the bolts. After getting all 4 bolts hand tight, using a torque wrench set to 9 foot-pounds, torque all 4 bolts in a cross-type pattern. Now it's time to clean up the drain plug and install a new crush washer onto it. Then reinstall the drain plug and torque to 18 foot-pounds. Now it's time to remove the fill plug and pour in the new oil. Check the description below for links to where you can buy this official Honda 10W30 oil, and also for a complete oil change kit that comes with 2 quarts and also the gasket and crush washer that you'll need to replace. After you finish pouring in the oil, then pull the bike to level and check the sight glass right behind the oil filter to make sure that it is within those 2 marks to indicate normal operating range. And finally, if you did remove the skid plate, now's the time to put it back on. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please let me know by smashing that like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Lastly, please show your support for this channel by hitting that subscribe button below if you're not a subscriber already.